being alive, just being alive, and staying alive. Sales is something that I tried to avoid most of my life. And I still get uncomfortable when I think about sales. However, it's a basis for where we go in life. Have you ever tried to talk to your kids into doing something? Have you ever tried to talk a friend into doing something? Have you ever tried to talk a teacher into a better grade? We live our life with sales, and yet it has a stigma of being something bad. That's cruddy. They make something good bad. Because salespeople, everyone's really jealous of, and normally they peddle something on you you what? Don't want, don't need, and are disappointed when you get it. But the sales part of it is only a tool. It's just a tool. You want to be able to sell specifically so that your life has more value. Now, I personally put moral points around sales. That's my personal preference. I find if I absolutely feel this is the right thing for someone, my job is to persuade them to do it. Now, if you don't have the skills, someone that has the skills in a lesser product or a lesser item is going to give it to them, and maybe even at a higher cost. And you're sitting watching injustice done because you don't have what? Good sales techniques. We want to in life add value. And I know everyone in Toastmasters, everyone that I've ever met anyway, wants to add value to their life by being able to speak. And everyone I've ever met in Toastmasters seems to have a high moral principle of wanting to do the right thing. And we also want to be able to give a wonderful message. This is what? Sales. Liga was up here and he gave a present, and what is they doing there? What is Steve doing? Steve was what? Selling. He was selling something he what? He loves. Something that's his life. And he had techniques. Good enough techniques that Liga presented it. And it's probably been presented around the world. That's sales. Everyone should learn sales. Couple things I found out about sales. One, about 90% of the decision making we make is based on logic. Bunk. 90% is based on emotion. 90% of our decisions in life, I'd say it's more like 95, are based on emotion. So we go and we look at the cars, and I notice when I drive down the road here there's a lot of what? Infinities, right? Now, an infinity in my CRV, my little Honda, a little less expensive one, will probably get us to the same place. And if you look at the technical process of it, it'll probably get us the same thing. But why did they buy the fancy one? Emotions. We want that sucker. So we spend a lot of time looking at the data, but we buy it because we want to buy it. And we spend all this time justifying it. And when you're selling to people, you have to first of all own that. Now, I'll give you a story. When I first started my business in software, I had to go out and sell. I had to sell against, guess who? The small guy in the neighborhood in the 1970s, IBM. So I was selling to cities in California, and I had to go sell against IBM. Well, here I was, an accountant and a programmer, but I wasn't a salesperson. And I'd go out there, and my product was better than IBM's. I had a newer, faster, greater, more attributes in them. And if I sat down and I justified it in a solid, steady way, I'd lose all the sales. So what did I do? I took the time, I took a lot of time, to sit down and learn how to sell. They used to have these little cartridges you could put in your, and listen to them. They still may have those. Everything's now is CDs. But I would listen to it. And I got these tapes. One of my favorite, and I love the name, Zig Zigler. I don't know if any of you heard about him, but Ziggy is a cool guy. And he did How to Sell Your Way to the Top. And he sold dishes for a living. And old Ziggy was, he was going, he was moving, and he loved selling. He was absolutely fantastic. And I would sit and I would listen to those tapes. And I listened to those tapes 20 times. I'd walk into a sales thing and I would repeat what Zig said. Because I couldn't say anything else almost. I've listened to it so many times. And I got learning to sell absolutely paid. I'll tell you, in 1 year, IBM had 104 salesmen. They made 101 sales to cities. I had in my big company 1 salesman, me. And I sold 52 cities. And I still have a bunch of them. Because I took the extra step to learn. But then, sometimes it reverses on you. And when my wife went with me, she would listen to the tapes too. And she listened what Zig said about his redhead, which is his wife. And she came home and she looked out on the patio and says, I want a new floor on the patio. I says, we don't need that, sweetie. She says,